Welcome to Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. I'm your host, Sadia, and this is my mother, Ima. Hey, Ima.
Hey, honey, how's my lovey?
I'm doing good. Thank God.
I got a great topic tonight.
Okay, I got one too. Tell me your topic, and then we'll go weiter.
Pesach and dieting.
Oh God, jeez, that's like a boringest topic you ever heard of one.
No, I thought of it tonight because your sister made this fantastic cheesecake for Pesach, topped with chocolate chips, and I really shouldn't be eating it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this horrible Ashkenazic, like Jewish guilt about wasting food.
Yup. Jeez. Yeah. You want to elaborate on that, or I can move on to my topic?
Since it's I think a lot of times, like in general, like a lot of times, a lot of the basic of food, a lot of it's like very sugary. The chocolate chips and all the delicious Pesach candy bars and candies, and now they have I like those. My favorite are those rainbow squares with the chocolate topping. I think
That's good.
I still think I think they're delicious any time of year. I like them very much. That jelly, I like the jelly that's in between the layers, and then you've got the chocolate on top. And what are some of your favorite Pesach recipes or foods?
Pesach recipe foods. I really like this year. Of course, the brisket. Of course, the meat was fantastic. And then of course it had to do with the Pesach cakes that everyone was eating. Do you remember those?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was good. I definitely was very satisfied. It was freaking awesome. It was really, really great.
I noticed something about the Pesach, like the chicken soup that's made for the Seder, for some reason is always delicious. I think it's because they
Yes,
put more chicken in it or something.
they could. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah,
so what happened was for Shabbos, I had Shabbos here, remember, so um I volunteered to make the chicken soup, and I had your sister go to the store and get me like those bags that you put the chicken or whatever you're using in the chicken soup. You put it in these little bags, you put that in the water so that you don't have
yeah.
pieces of chicken bone floating around. Well, I had an ulterior motive.
Oh yeah.
I used my chicken feet.
Oh yeah. Those.
And
I mean,
I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to gross them out.
who do you think would be grossed out by it?
All I know is there were a couple times I made it in years past, and your father and the kids went, because it looks like
Yeah,
a claw coming out of the soup. I
I
like it, by the
guess.
way. I like that. For some reason, chicken feet floating in chicken soup is a very big is very appetizing to me. I like it very, very much. For some reason, not everybody does. And so what I did was, I put it in one of those soup bags.
Okay. I mean, I think it was.
And yeah,
I think I had the soup. It was fantastic. I loved it.
yeah, that's because there were chicken. I put the chicken feet. You didn't know I put the chicken feet in one of those bags, and then before people ate the soup, I sneaked into the kitchen and I took the bag out and put it in a separate bowl for myself, so I could eat the chicken feet later, not in front of everybody, because I knew people would be grossed out watching me eat chicken feet.
I think it's more grossed out. Like, the only thing I could think of is like being grossed out because it just the way people eat sometimes can be a little too much. You know what I mean?
Well, your brother, one time when he was a teenager, teenagers like sometimes daydream about what they're going to do on their, especially from people that are raised in a totally from house don't really date as teenagers. They're not supposed to. What they do sneaking up behind their parents' back, I can't control. But there are
Yeah.
some that that do hold by not dating until they're in their early 20s and ready for marriage. And so a lot of very from teenagers will like kind of like daydream about, well, what should I do on a first date? How can I test out this person to make sure that they're the kind of person I want to marry? And a lot of people come up with like tests, like certain questions that they know are going to maybe present red flags or things that they're going to do that might bring out, say, a hidden quality in the person you're seeing, so that you can see what they really are like. Well, your older brother, his idea was to he's very meticulous about cleanliness, and his idea was to take the girl to a um, Chinese restaurant and have her order something that's very sloppy to eat and see how
Mm.
she handles it.
That can be very interesting. I've heard ones where it's like make like it's the test is how they treat the waiter.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
that's a
Yes.
oldie but a goodie.
Uh-huh.
Um, where literally it's just been this whole thing of like, you know, if they treat obviously it's the simple task of, do they treat the waiter with respect and dignity and it's something where it's just like that's kind of why on some level it's important to go ahead and do these like waiting jobs and things like that, little grind jobs. So, you know, there
Mhm.
there can be this like respect for the industry, if you know what I mean.
Right. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking. And the a lot of times when I'm leaving work, a lot of times when as I'm leaving, the cleaning help is coming on, and
Hmm.
I always make it my business to thank the cleaning help for
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah. It's so important. Um,
Mm.
that's why
Well,
like
go ahead.
no, again, I do the same
Mhm,
thing. It's
mhm,
just you gotta just be respectful and
mhm,
be caring. Um,
mhm.
it's just this. I guess it's that one thing of just you gotta be careful
But
and
I don't
you
know if I
gotta
ever
show
mentioned
respect.
this. I don't know if I ever mentioned on previous podcasts, but there were these two girls, two single girls I used to work with in New York, and the
Yeah.
two of them. Did you hear about the Tish Carew test? Did we ever go that on
No, we never
podcast?
talked about this.
Okay, here's what happened. These two girls were um, talking to each other. They were marriageable age. They were going on shidduchim, and they were trying to see how they should gauge the young men they were dating. And so they had an idea. They
Yeah.
came up with what was called the Tish Carew test. So
Okay.
they would tell the guys that they were dating um, that there was a man who was an alcoholic, and no matter what he did, he couldn't seem to shake it. For him, a Hasidic man. So this is of course, this is fabrication. So they went to a Hasidic Rebbe, and they asked the Rebbe what they should do, and the Rebbe advised them to advise the man to check his tefillin. And he checked his tefillin, and he found out that in the Shema, the words instead of tiskuru, but Laman tiskuru, as called mitzvah side that you should guard all your mitzvahs, was written tishkuru, like someone who's drunk, tishkuru, and that's why he was alcoholic. So he had the sofer, correct his tefillin, and then his problem was solved. So if the guy didn't react and said, "Oh my goodness, that's interesting," they didn't want this guy. If the guy picked up on it right away and said, "Hey, that part of the Shema is not in tefillin, you can't fool me," then they knew that this was a guy who was really on the ball and that they wanted to continue dating him.
That's cute. That's really, really cute.
I thought it was pretty funny. Well, an older friend of mine, a woman in her 50s, married woman in her 50s, who also worked with us, from lady,
Yeah.
she thought it was horrible. She thought what those two girls are doing is horrible. That stupid test, the Tishka test. Of all things.
Well, no, it's a decent look. I think it's a decent thing to ask, where it's just like you want this kind of person that would pick up on that. It would be like,
Yeah.
if I made a joke and the girl I was dating didn't pick up on the joke, that would be like a red flag, so to speak. Nothing in a negative sense, like, oh, they're a horrible person, but like that's not somebody I want. They're not going to get my humor. I don't want to live that way.
Well, but with my problem is I don't know might sound. I mean, people tell I'm supposed to be an intelligent person. I mean, I graduated cum laude from college. I got a scholarship and everything, you know. So I got to have some sort of intelligence about me. But there are many times people will tell jokes, and I just don't get it. And also, especially like these cartoons, these you know, these cartoon magazines.
What do you mean
I have
cartoon
a
magazine cartoons?
Yeah, magazine cartoons. I have a terrible time following them. I just don't get a lot of the stuff that's in there.
You know, it's such there actually is like a subreddit. What that means is there's like this group of people online that it's called Explain the Joke. And the whole thing is like it could be simple jokes or be complex jokes, but it basically like people present different jokes that some people said like, oh, you know, like I just don't get this joke, and it's like it could be the easiest, or sometimes it's like a real complex joke that like someone had to explain it to me really to get it. So it just depends. There's plenty of people out there with that same mentality of like certain jokes that are very simple, they just don't get it.
Maybe I should join a support group.
You could. It's
People
called
who don't get jokes.
what's a good name? No Jokes for You sport group.
No jokes for you, Anonymous.
No Jokes Anonymous or something like that. I think I'm thinking what's a good one? What's a good one? I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I'm just babbling along. My question actually, and I was thinking about this earlier today because I was listening to the Beatles, and I was thinking about, remember you telling me as a couple years ago when Tati passed, like, you know, how would you explain, you know, the relationship you had with them in a song? And you said it was like bend me, shake me. It's some song you told me, whatever. The point I was trying to make was, what top three songs would you say would be like, I would say would like, not trying to find the right way to explain this. What would be your top three songs that would represent your life?
Where'd you get that question?
No, I made it up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I thought you got it.
Yeah.
I thought you got it off of a website or something.
No.
Okay. Man, that's a hard one though, because I love music. I like all sorts of music. Well, one of my favorite symphonies is Dvorak's Ninth Symphony.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorites. Especially like the beginnings and the end of the symphony is very beautiful. It's a very interesting piece, especially for its time. The ending of Dvorak's Ninth Symphony was not your typical. It was, I think it was like, it had to be written like early 20th century. The ending was very, very different from your typical classical bum ba da 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 da. No, the ending of Dvorak's symphony is a single trumpet that's blowing one note and then slowly dies off. Very different from the time.
Okay.
It was very different. Yeah. So Dvorak's Ninth Symphony.
Okay.
What else could I say?
You're thinking about it. Da, da,
Yeah,
da, 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 da,
oh, that's a good one. I would pick that one too. Whoever came up with that jingle for Jeopardy?
I don't know. I could probably find out like what's it called and who was written by and all that other stuff.
Well, the end of it is Little Teapot. Da 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 da. You know the song Little Teapot?
Tip me over and pour me out.
Yeah. When I was in the seminary, they came up with a Hasidic version of it. We said, "I'm a little Chassid, short and stout. Here is my yarmulke, my sits out. When I'm at the bringing, hear me shout. Ufaratzta is the word, so let's spread out."
That's really cute. Apparently the name of the song was called Think, and it's originally was a lullaby that Jeopardy creator Merv Griffin wrote for his son,
Oh
and that
my
Griffin
God.
received royalties every time the song aired, which earned him a close to $80 million before his death.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. A stupid little song.
Yep, a stupid little song made him so much stupid little money.
Yeah,
My
I
gosh.
remember now in the back of my mind. Now I just jolted my memory. I remember there was, I think Merv Griffin, was he one of the producers, one of the original producers of Jeopardy or something like that? No,
I think
I
he
know he was
was, yeah.
involved in it. Yeah, isn't that amazing? He was involved in that. Hmm.
But yeah, so
What
what
about
pop
you? What song? What songs can you come up with? You say that describes your life.
I'm trying to think. Hmm. Maybe Bitches Ain't Shit by Dr. Dre. I think that's a good soft song that really expresses the melodiousness of my life. I don't know. I don't know. It's like I think
How about you
Tati's.
can't? How about the your father's favorite the Rolling Stones? You can't always
Always
get
get, but
what
that's
you
Tati's. I can't take
want.
Tati's. That's Tati's song.
Oh yeah, cat, come on, move, move,
Well,
animal, come on.
go on, geek.
Must you always show your tush to the camera, beast?
She has OnlyFans.
Yes. Say hello
Uh,
to the audience. No, okay,
no,
no.
it's only if they're gonna
Shut.
be watching it, not listening to it.
Camera shine.
Yeah, I don't know what songs for me. I don't know. Um, it's weird to say.
And there's something else also we can talk about.
What?
Okay, post, uh, post Pesach drama.
Post Pesach trauma.
And post Pesach readjustment, but post Pesach trauma sounds much better.
Hmm.
Sounds more dramatic.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what's it like readjusting?
You know what it is? It's like
Like
going
your
on
brother,
vacation.
your brother running to Toast Pizza, standing in line for hours so he could be the first one there.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, I really had a great time. I miss the family. I'm really happy that like I have this time, in the year, like the once a year, I get to see everybody and hang out with everyone and just like really enjoy myself. Like it was really cute when everyone was doing the Nerf gun war, with all the little Nerf guns and everyone was like fighting each other. It was really funny with Fiona like freaking out with David.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I had a great time. I miss it, and I'm looking forward to next year. And it's just like it's the only time I really get to see everybody. If you think about it.
Do you know that the Mashiach Seuda, I think was the most labor deck that
You think?
I think that we've ever had.
Hmm.
A lot
Interesting.
of singing, a lot of ruach. I don't remember Mashiach Seuda having that much ruach.
Yeah, I mean, I had a thing where it's just like I enjoyed the singing, I enjoyed hanging out with everyone, and I enjoyed like just talking, and then I wouldn't say reminiscing, but like it's one of the things I like about like growing up as a kid with my family, that like even if I'm not participating in something, I just know there's someone doing something somewhere in the house. And it just gave me this like sense of like security and enjoyment. That's kind of what I think about, God willing, with my child and everything like that. But like giving them that type of life of being able to, you know, enjoy a family, enjoy that part of life where you're just sitting there in the moment and you have like Baruch Hashem Kanan Har, like so much simcha,
Yeah.
like that was something that I definitely enjoyed with Pesach, because of course there's always dramas, something happening somewhere, someone thought something other. Like for instance, it was really weird, but one of my brothers, for some reason, was every time either I sat down or Ruthie sat down, he would get up. Every time I'd want to suggest to go somewhere, he decided to stay back. Like it was just a weird thing where like it was just I asked him about it, and like it seemed like it's just more of like a weird coincidence in a weird sense, just
Mhm.
like someone's like just in the zone, just doing their own thing and not paying attention to other people, and just like not realizing like in a way how it would technically affect someone else, but it was just a silly little thing, and that's why I just thought it was really funny. Um,
Did he give any explanation?
no, it's just a
No.
happenstance, to be honest, because that's happened to me before.
Oh,
I
he didn't
remember,
realize he was even doing it.
yeah, you didn't realize you're doing it. You're just
Uh-huh.
trying to just like live your life, not like consciously thinking or anything. Like I remember I was with somebody, and like I was driving with them. They got really upset. I'm like, what are you so upset about? And they said every time they turned on to a radio station, I would change the channel, and I didn't realize I was doing it.
Ah, uh-huh.
And I didn't realize I was just like
Interesting. Yeah.
changing the channel, like whatever. And so I understand where it's just like nothing personal. It's just I was just thinking in my head, you know, like, oh, okay, whatever, it's fine. But
You know,
that's
it's
what.
very interesting about, like, doing things when you're not realizing that you're doing something. I had an incident like that in third grade. I was just sitting there, and the teacher's looking up, and she looks around them. She goes, "Who's making that noise?" And we're looking at each other like, "What noise? What's she talking about?" She goes, "That high squeaky noise. Who's doing it?" I'm looking. What? Everyone's looking at each other like, well, no. I mean, all our hands are on our desks. Everyone's sitting up straight, looking at the teacher, and like no one seems to be fidgeting with anything. Like, what's going on? She goes, "Whoever is making that noise better stop now, or else you're going to be in a lot of trouble." And we're all looking. All of a sudden, it dawned on me. I had a nervous habit of, like, I say, shaking my leg, like shaking my foot, and I didn't
Mhm.
realize, but my foot was right up against my chair. And as I was shaking my foot, a lot of people have like nervous habits. And as my foot was going up and down, it was it was squeaking across the metal leg of the chair.
Oh wow.
And I didn't realize it. And I bet, yeah, I stopped real fast.
Yeah, I think that's what's so funny, where it's just like we're both like the whole family has like this ADHD thing where we're not noticing what's going on. Just like, oh, whatever, it's fine, no big deal. Like I think it's happened to so many of us over the years that we all like now we have it under control, we have it taken care of, getting things done. You know.
My trouble is also spatiation, judging space, judging, like,
Okay.
um, it's like, my mother said that I was always falling over things all the time, constantly falling down steps, tripping over chairs, tripping over things. And in fact, a few months ago at work, some one of the kids one of the kids in our preschool class needed some sort of food or something. So I rushed to get it for her, and I didn't realize that the back of her chair was like sticking out, and I fell right over it.
Oof.
In fact, I fell straight back on my head.
Oh wow.
And of course, the teacher was like, "Oh my god!" They were really worried about me. They had me sit in the chair, so don't move, just sit here quietly, don't move. But now I'm more careful about looking around my surroundings, like, where's my chair? But I remember as a kid, there were kids that didn't want to play with me. Why? Because I was always bumping into them. I was always, like I said, bumping into them, running into them, that type of thing. Playing too roughly, because I couldn't judge. You know, I wasn't able to judge like personal distance.
Oh my gosh.
What's the matter?
Rabbi David's just passed away.
Moshe Davids?
Yeah.
Ruch Dayanemes. Oh my God.
The vow will take place tomorrow at 11.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They were one of my first Shabbos families
What do you mean?
when I first became from. When you're from and your family's not Shomer Shabbos, it's very important. You really have to have a Shabbos family. You have to have, like, a Shabbos family or a group of families that you can always go to on Shabbos, because to try to keep Shabbos by yourself in a house where they're not observing Shabbos is very, very difficult. It's difficult for your family. It's difficult for you too, for everyone. So it's always best if you become from to have like I said, to have a Shabbos family. And usually the Shabbos families are very nice people who, you know, who have you like almost every week. And they were one of my Shabbos families.
Can you share maybe a memory of him?
He was very patient, very nice, patient, very patient man, especially for having me at the Shabbos table.
How come?
I told you about my lack of, how can I say it,
Awareness.
satiation. And there was one time where there was a pitcher of juice or something, a glass pitcher, and I was passing something very quickly, and he was lifting the pitcher, and I didn't see the pitcher, and smashed the plate that I was passing, smashed right into this pitcher, and the orange juice went all over the table.
Oh gosh.
And he just sat there and smiled and didn't say anything, and just got coughed to wipe the whole thing up. God, I'll never forget that one.
Oh wow. I remember learning with him. He would teach me my Mafter, the Haftorah, the first Aliyah, when I was in 7th grade. And he was showing me, he taught me how to lane.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Etty loved, your older sister Etty loved his Yom Kippur davening.
Oh, everyone did. Everyone
Yeah.
did. I loved
Had
it.
a lot of emotion. He had a lot of emotion in it. Yes.
It wasn't just emotion, it was honesty. It was honesty, and that's what I enjoyed.
Mhm.
It was just, I got to go ahead and experience the honesty of davening, what it means to honestly daven. Because I mean, you go to school, and you get a lot of people that, I'm not gonna bash them too hard, but like, it looks like they're faking the emotion. It looks like they're faking it when they daven.
Mhm.
And then I see, Moshe Davids, and the way he davens sincerely, at least the way I saw it. And that's
Mhm.
where, for me, it's like, that's why I try to daven sincerely. It's not perfect. I'm not going to say that, like, I daven fantastically. I try my best, but I try to make sure that my davening is sincere. Like, if I, like, we have this thing, right? It's supposed to be, you're supposed to be talking in front of God. You're supposed to be presenting yourself to him as if it's the president of the United States. That's what they say, halavai. So if you're talking to someone that's the president of the United States, if you're explaining something to someone who knows very busy, you have a lot of time for, like, nonsense. You have to be serious about it. So you try to speak in a serious, firm, but thorough tone, and the pronunciation and expressions you would be saying would be on a level of, I'm not gonna say speeding through, but being pretty consistent and concise, and not wasting time with ums, buts, yas, or slowly drawn out words. So it's kind of why, for me, it's like when I daven at like that kind of pace. And that's where that's how I see it. But yeah.
Did they say is there anything about like how old is he?
I don't know, but probably, I would think, must be in his late 80s. No? Because if you went to them when you started becoming from, and you were like maybe 26, I would say.
I was no, I was about almost 23.
You were
20,
23.
22, 23.
And were they like a newlywed couple that, like, you were staying by, or they were like a more seasoned couple?
No, they were more. They had been married. I don't know how many years they were married for. I know they had a few kids already.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you have it. Like,
He was a probation officer.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a probation officer.
Yes, he was. He was a probation officer.
Wow. How did that happen? Was he always from, or was he about Tshuva as well?
He well, kind of about Tshuva, but he became from what happened. He tells us the story that I think he grew up in Silver Spring, and I don't know if his mother was a widow. I'm not sure. I think she might have been a widow or something, and he was going to the public school, and to make some extra money on the side, he was like 11 years old, maybe 12, something like that, maybe 13. I don't know how old he was, but early teens. and he would deliver newspapers to make extra money before school, after school, weekends. And he saw this rabbi that was a Lubavitcher rabbi. He had just this rabbi had just opened up a school, a Jewish school in the area, and he sees the rabbi walking, and he decides to offer him a free newspaper. He's a rabbi, so he says, "Rabbi," he says, "would you like to have a free newspaper?" And the rabbi, thanks him and asks him if he's Jewish. He says, "Yeah." So he says, he asks him, he says, "I'm starting a Jewish school here. Would you like to go?" And he says, "Yes, I would." So he says, "Well, okay, well, you need to have your parents' permission first, but if you get your parents' permission," he showed him where the school was or something. I don't know, I can't fill in all the details of the story, but what happened was his mother said no. He was going at the time to the public school, and he in the morning. This is the day and age where it was safe for kids to walk to school. Because I walked to school a lot too. Our generation walked to school a lot because in those days it was pretty safe. And when he would walk to school in the morning, he decided instead of going to the public school, he was going to go to the Jewish school. So he went to this Jewish school, and he says he remembers the rabbi. He didn't know much Hebrew, that he could really sit and learn with the rest of the class. So the rabbi gave him a Sefer Tehillim, and told him to say Tehillim. I think it was during the davening. He was having trouble davening. The rabbi gave him the Tehillim, told him to say the Tehillim. So he said he attended this Jewish school for 2 weeks, and then his mother gets a call from the public school. Where is he? And that's how she found out that he had been going to this Jewish school without her permission. And to put it in the words of Moshe Davis, "I will spare you the gory details." In those days, people hit their kids,
Yeah, they really hit the kids.
Oh boy, did they.
Wow.
Like the way he says, "I will spare you the gory details." But his mother did come when his mother saw how badly he wanted to attend. She did come around and say, "Okay, this is what you want. All right." And that's how he became from.
Yeah, wow. It's an amazing story because
And to have the nerve to do that, boy, for a kid.
yeah. I just remember enjoying watching him daven. And I remember as a kid being very tired, like on Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah, and wanting to sit down. And Tati would be like, "See Moshe, Rabbi Davis, see he's standing the whole time. He's not sitting down. What makes you think you can sit down?" And that's how he would.
I tell you, I can't get over how people like Moshe Davis become the Shliach Tzibur for such intense and such a physically challenging davening.
Yeah.
No food, no water, to stand up there and to lead the congregation in the tefillas, and to stand and to stand and to stand. It's amazing. I don't know how they do it.
So how did you meet them? How did you know them?
Baruch Hashem Shefani Kirtzono. That's all I gotta say sometimes, man.
So how did you meet them? How did you know them?
Well, my first Shabbos family, that I was referred to, the story when I told the story about Dr. Kranzler, referred me to the first Shabbos family, the Heikens. And I think there were some weeks where the Heikens couldn't have guests or something, maybe, for various reasons. Maybe the kids were sick or something, or maybe there was, some, I think there were many. There was at one time that they were moving, and they couldn't have guests for that Shabbos because they were very busy moving and had a lot of things packed away, and so they were the ones that had the Davids, Moshe Davids and his wife Shula, give me a call and invite me for Shabbos and take me, because they couldn't have me that week.
Interesting. And that's how you met them.
Yeah.
Did you ever introduce them to Tati and then have a whole meal with them?
They knew Tati.
They really?
Tati and I had the same Shabbos families.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Shabbos
You're right.
families.
Yeah. Why did I think this? I know, looking back, we talked about this. Why did I not think that way? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, they were probably, No, would you ever have a meal with him, like as you were both single, like at the Davids?
Yeah, there was a couple times Tati was there and I when I was there. Yeah,
How'd it go? Anything interesting? Nothing.
Baruch
Just stunned.
Hashem. I think where I threw the challah. No, that was a different family where he and I got into an argument. We
What
weren't
was
we
the?
weren't even dating. We just were friends, and we got into some sort of argument, and I he started laughing at me about something. He was teasing me, and I picked up a piece of challah and threw it right at him.
What?
Hit him in the
Can you
glasses.
elaborate on that, please?
I don't remember what the joke was, but there was some sort of disagreement we had, and he started teasing me and laughing, and I got mad and threw a piece of bread at him, threw
Oh,
the
that's
challah
funny.
at him, a piece of challah, small piece
Piece
of
of challah.
challah.
Small piece of challah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shush. Oh, shush you. Shush you. Wow. I just keep on seeing more and more of old school Bais Lubavitch drifting away. It's just like, and like I'm the next generation of like Mr. Angster. You know, it's a lot different. I'll tell you that much. It's a lot different.
Oh, the new generation is taking it.
I'll leave you to it. I'll leave you to it. It's fine. You got this. You live many, many long, healthy years.
Amen, 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 amen.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I just kept thinking of like Roy Davids, and before that it was like a few other guys in shul that were like really close to Rabbi Lisbon, where it's just like kind of think of it as that as well, where it's like, how did the other guys in shul think about this? Where it's just like more and more of like the other people are just, going away.
And it is. It's kind of in a way it's kind of scary. It's scary to me.
Yeah. Whatever. No big deal.
The old guard.
Old Gar.
What was it? There was one time when there was when those group of people that took like years ago decided to break away from the mainstream shul because they felt that we weren't, I don't know, they felt that we weren't catering to the younger generation, so they formed the Young Anash. So at first they were in the basement. They separated themselves from us, and they went down to the basement to daven. And there was one time I walked over to the basement and I yelled down, "Stick around long enough and you'll be the old Anash."
You do realize that they didn't leave because that, or Lisbon told them to do that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they left on their own volition.
No. Rabbi Lisbon said to make a separate minyan to really fit with the younger crowd, to get more people for the younger crowd. And the younger crowd got bigger and bigger, and the older crowd got smaller and smaller. And then Young Anash left, and went next door, and it kind of balanced itself out, to be honest. It's kind of back, like we're at pre-Young Anash numbers, and Young Anash is, still at their numbers. It's just, it's nothing too crazy. It's very normal. I remember Tati getting so upset about it and getting so pissed off, and it's just,
I don't blame him in a way, because it does, it's not good to break off like that unless there's some, it's always best to try to reconcile differences and stay together, because that's what keeps the congregation strong. Anything strong, a country, a congregation,
I mean, that's why I agreed personally that when they tried to create a shul together and it didn't work out, and they're like, would you still keep the donations that you gave? I said, on condition that you don't leave the area and you stay next to the shul, and they agreed.
Right.
And therefore they stayed, and thank God, it seems like they bought the house, it's nearby, and they're having their own shul. But it's just like, we're still connected, we still communicate, we're still a kahila. Because if you look at other parts of the Lubavitch community, it's just not really there. They kind of like do their own thing. It's not part of the Young Anash Bais Lubavitch kind of setup, which I think is always just very funny. That's why it was so important to have people together. Yeah. All right, Ma, I love you. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
You too, honey.
Be cool. Stay in school. Say no to drugs. All right. Take care.